Yeah. Hey guys,
Hello.
welcome back to Monday Night Mythbusters. I'm Dr. Carolyn George from Vita Integrative Medicine, and this is Leslie Harrington, Transformational Coach.
Hey guys.
So tonight we would like to play a little game with you guys and see if you can figure out what wonder drug we're talking about when we are talking about one that can both help to bring down your blood pressure, helps you to sleep, and can fix headaches, as well as actually muscle spasms, calf cramps, that kind of thing.
Hey Brian.
Hey there, Brian. So if anybody has any ideas, hey there, Marianne, shout out if you have any ideas what wonder drug this might be that helps your blood pressure, your muscle spasms, your insomnia, and your headaches. What could it be, and how much would you pay to have this wonder drug? So let's see if we can get anybody to.
We've got more joining, so you might want to repeat the question.
Right, so I can absolutely do that. So we're just talking about a wonder drug that can do many things. It helps to lower your blood pressure. It helps you so that you don't need as many other medications. It's the blood pressure just kind of nicely goes down, both your systolic and your diastolic. You are sleeping better, but it's not knocking you out so that you can't wake up in the morning. It also helps you with your muscle cramps. So if you get Charlie horses and things like that, it can help with that. And then it also helps with headaches. So if anybody has any ideas.
Brian says, is it actually a drug or is this a trick?
Oh, well, you know me, it could be a trick. But if you can think of any drug that does this, just to go ahead and shout it out, write it down here. We'll be watching for some answers. So while we're talking about this, I just want to talk a little bit about the mechanism of action. So this is one that works at the level of the muscle. Okay, so it works with both smooth muscle and your regular muscle, like a muscle, but smooth muscle is in your blood vessel walls, and it helps to release that so it can relax. And that's why it can have such a nice effect on your blood pressure and your spasms. And so we've got one guess about CBD, and no, it's good guess, but that's not it. Hi, David. Let's see who else is joining us now. And then Brian. Oh, okay. And Marianne. Yeah, they both got it. Okay. I have got such a smart crew. Can't believe it. Yes, magnesium. So magnesium is that wonder drug. And of course, it's not actually a drug, but it is a mineral that's important. It's one of the top minerals that we have in our bodies.
Fourth most abundant.
Yes, there we go. We've got Leslie here for our fun facts. So fourth most abundant in the body. And it's really super important to the functioning of many, many different things. It's a cofactor that's required through many different enzymes, or for many different enzymes in many different systems.
What that means is essentially it's responsible for plethora, over 300 different body functions, so enzymatic functions in your body. So when your magnesium's off, you can have a lot of other things that are disrupted by that.
Right. So when we say a cofactor or a vitamin, so enzymes are proteins that make one thing go from to another. And so they have what we call cofactors, which can be like your vitamin B12, or it can be riboflavin, it can be vitamin C, it can be magnesium. And often these enzymes require multiple cofactors for each different step. So if magnesium is one of those cofactors that it requires, and it's not there in high enough amounts, that step then goes very low. And that can then lead to spasms in the muscles. It can lead to poor recovery. So for example, when you do a biceps curl and you're contracting your muscle, for that muscle to relax, it needs magnesium. So if you don't have enough magnesium, you end up with a spasm. So it can be a contraction as simple as you're stretching your leg in the middle of the night. How many people do that, right? Stretch your leg and all of a sudden you get this terrible cramp that wakes you up. It's because there was not enough magnesium, usually. Sometimes it can be potassium in addition, but it's usually the magnesium piece that will cause that.
Yeah, magnesium I find is like the miracle supplement, right?
It is
So
so underloved.
yeah, and just the basic things. The first time when you hear about sleep, it's something that's really super powerful to support sleep and to help sleep. So
Yes,
sometimes
exactly.
simply adding magnesium, if you're deficient in all of these different cofactors of these different things, basically precursors to other things happening in your body,
Right.
if the magnesium is missing from that, then you have so much disruption in your regular things that your body's supposed to be doing. So when you give yourself back a little, you can not just see improvements in sleep, you see improvements in a lot of these things that you're talking about.
Right.
So she's talking about cramping, you're talking about the way that your blood flows, you're talking about the way that your vascular constriction, right?
Yeah,
it's all
exactly.
impactful, that one little supplement like that can make a dramatic difference in many, many, many symptoms that you might be feeling.
Yeah, and it doesn't actually have to even come from a supplement. It's a mineral, so it's in a lot of foods. So we could also spend some time talking about which foods it's in.
Yeah, I think the foods are easy for the leafy green vegetables, a really good source there.
The deep green leafies, like your spinach, your kale, your bok choy, Brussels sprouts, beet greens, all those are really high in magnesium.
Yeah, so it's relatively easy to get in your diet if you do have a good kind of not as much the colorful, the deep green, but the other thing is it's not just a supplement in the sense of the oral or even powders or whatnot, but you can take a Epsom salt bath. So a lot of people don't realize Epsom salt is magnesium. And that is one of the best ways because your skin's your largest organ. So you're able to absorb it quite well through soaking in a tub with it. Mm-hmm. So not only that, you get the benefits of the relaxation, which it is also considered the stress mineral.
Right.
So it will give you that feeling of complete relief.
Very relaxing. And there's not much that's cheaper than Epsom salts. So it really is an inexpensive way. All you need is a bathtub. Yeah. Then even that actually you don't absolutely have to have. So bathtub makes it easier. But I do have some patients who don't have bathtubs. And what they'll do is put it in a bowl and use a cloth and then put a cloth around, warm cloth with magnesium around their neck or pulse points in their wrists or underneath their arms or in their groin. And that's an area where your blood flow is closer to the surface. And so it's a little bit easier to absorb the magnesium.
And there's topical magnesiums too. So there's different types of gels and creams, and a lot of times they're combined with something else that might be really powerful. So there's plenty of ways to get it, in your body without taking anything.
Right.
And then of course there's ways to take it. And I think talking about a little bit of the mixed varieties that are out there. Mm-hmm. So your citrates and your chelates and all the different types. You go to a magnesium, you'll see glycinates. Figuring out which one is the right and appropriate for you. So what would you say would be one you recommend?
So if you're looking for the muscle relaxation and the headache, actually more muscle relaxation and blood pressure, you're going to be looking for the magnesium hydroxide or the glycinate or the chelate. A chelate just means it's bound to something else. It's chelated to it. And so that way your body tends to absorb it a little bit better. If you're looking for headaches, then you're really looking for a magnesium threonate. That's with a THRE. And that's a version that gets absorbed a little bit through the blood-brain barrier, which can help with calming as well as bad headaches. And headaches are often from constriction of those blood vessels, right? Whether they're migraines or tension headaches. So that magnesium threonate is useful for that. Then if you're talking about bowels, and we didn't even talk about this as being part of the wonder drug, but if you're constipated, magnesium citrate, because the citrate isn't absorbed well into your body, so it stays in your gut and it pulls the fluid in, so you get more fluid in your intestinal lumen, in the tube going through you, and that helps it to stay softer so that you're not as constipated, so you get a flow of your bowels a little easier.
And actually on that note, you really can't take too much magnesium without knowing. Right. So the way that you would know is if you got too loose. So diarrhea. If you don't have any problems there and you're taking that particular type, the citrate is the one you said is best for that. Just watch the dose, because initially if you start taking it unless you're constipated, you might feel it, a little more harshly than somebody else. So if you don't have any problems there, one of the other forms might be a better option for you.
And magnesium citrate is the one that you think about that you're given when you're going to do a colonoscopy that helps to kind of flush out your system. So you don't have to buy it in a large container like you would use when you're having the colonoscopy. You can buy it in capsules. Not available everywhere that way, but in your functional medicine office and some places online, you'll get it that way. So the capsule can be a little easier to titrate. And as Leslie says, you can really start off low, but you can really go relatively high, 6 to 8 capsules if needed, to get a bowel movement happening.
Yeah.
So it's always a possibility for you if you're having a hard time and you've been using some over-the-counter stool softeners or fiber, that type of thing, and that's not helping. Sometimes your magnesium is a really good option.
Yes. And I can speak from the area of blood flow.
Mm-hmm.
Like just, I started magnesium back when I was originally diagnosed, and it did wonders for my body and just the stabilization of my blood pressure, because I had really low blood pressure. So it helped make things move a little bit better.
Right. And that's a good point. It's generally not going to drop your blood pressure so low that it's dangerous, but it helps give that reflexiveness back to your blood vessels so they can constrict and relax. They're not just going to make them a lump puddle of blood vessels, right? You're going to be able to have that reactiveness that you want from your blood pressure. You want to be able to
move,
relax, but you also want it to constrict when it needs to. So you need something that's not going to paralyze it. So magnesium doesn't do that. It just allows it to be more relaxed and not be so tight.
So when you're talking about muscle cramping, it's typically in the evening, like the restless leg kind of thing, or how
Both,
do you?
both.
Okay.
So it could be used for restless leg, but some people will be sleeping and get calf cramps, and that will wake them up suddenly from the sleep. That can be very disconcerting when you just get this jolt of pain as a spasm goes on in your leg. But you can get calf cramps, and you can get arm cramps. You can get even chest wall cramps. Sometimes with the wrong movement. Sometimes you're doing some heavy lifting or pushing something, you might get a cramp in another muscle. So if you have that, laying on some magnesium, doing the Epsom salts, or taking, if it happens frequently, taking it in the capsules so that you're doing it almost every day.
He's giving us some love here.
I know,
you guys.
Some love, loving that love.
Yeah, when you're talking about the spasms too, like, is that the same for like if you see like a muscle twitch?
Yes, like your eyes, if you get the eye twitching. Some people get their eyebrows and eye.
Yes,
yeah,
I used to get that a lot.
Twitch, and that can be a magnesium issue too.
Yeah, magnesium and hydration on that one.
Yes,
sometimes,
right. Well,
poor sleep.
And actually, magnesium hydration can really combine.
How are they connected with magnesium, potassium? So there's a certain ratio there, right? As far as like you want to have a balance, or how do
gets more complicated than you even want to worry about. So just making sure you're getting lots of potassium containing foods.
Okay.
Those are a little easier to get than the magnesium containing foods, because those are things like kiwi and papaya and banana, potato skin, oranges. Those have a lot of potassium in them. So we tend to eat more of those than we do most people, the magnesium containing foods.
Okay.
Because those deep green leafies, most people buy that, head lettuce, which is like no nutrition to it. The lighter the lettuce, the less nutrients that are in it, and really not even much fiber in head lettuce. It's mostly water. So I just stay away from head lettuce altogether. Go for the more gusto. Go for the darker greens, right? The more green, the romaines that are green, not the lighter romaines. And that will be helpful. And sometimes some nuts and seeds, that can be another source of magnesium as well. So just keeping that in mind. So it doesn't just have to be salads, and you can saute them and get the benefit. The magnesium is brought out a little bit by using a little bit of acidity, like lemon juice or vinegar. So cooking with those things helps to bring out the calcium and magnesium that are in those wonderful foods.
What about detox?
Using the magnesium to detox?
It helps with detox.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because we are so deficient in magnesium generally as a population in North America, it becomes difficult to detox because your bowels get constipated. So the magnesium helps the bowels to move. It helps you to relax. It gets the blood flow going. So all of that can help as you're putting more blood through your liver. That liver is being able to do more of what it does, which is help to clean out your system. So those could all be good things.
Yeah, and the reason that we're mineral deficient as a society is really has to do with the soil and the way that we just don't have the same quality of water that we had before, and the soil is not giving that same nutrients in the
right?
food.
Yeah. But even if it did, so many people do not eat those deep green leafies.
Yeah.
That, you know, spinach might be the one thing that people might get, but bok choy and kale and Brussels sprouts are really not things that many people, other than maybe people that are listening to this, maybe you guys are having that, but most of the rest of North America is having their meat and their potatoes and maybe one vegetable, which is usually corn or carrots, and there's really not that much magnesium in it.
So I was interested in that talking. I read a lot about it being intracellular, meaning that it's not as free flowing in your bloodstream. It's more in the cell to get it into the cell.
Yes,
how do you make sure?
You just have to have plenty of the magnesium around
for
that
for
it to get in. Yeah, I don't think you can prime the receptors to pull it in. It just has to be ample enough in the blood. That is, though, something that we can check, because you can look for magnesium levels. You can look in the blood, and you can do an RBC, a red blood cell magnesium, to see what's actually getting into the red blood cell. It's not a super tight reflection of how good your magnesium is. So I don't do it on everybody, but if there's anybody that I'm worried about, I will certainly do an RBC magnesium on them and see, and then try to boost it up through food and supplementation.
Yeah, and I find my body, like, I mean, I don't know if it's because I do hydrate a lot. I can take a lot of magnesium, and it doesn't affect me in any negative way. But and I just tested again because I'm keeping up with my testing and my magnesium supplementation, and the way that I've been just topically and integrating it into my life as like a pretty primary supplement. My numbers are reflecting it, so I can see that last time I was pretty deficient in magnesium, and this time I've shifted over into having what I need. So it does work if you really pay attention and try to put it. Not only that, I can't tell you like how different you will feel if you have magnesium deficiency, and like you will feel significantly improved in so many different ways, and even like things like fatigue.
Yes.
You know, when your blood's flowing better, when you're not, your muscles aren't as stressed, when you're sleeping better, with all these things that are happening.
And because it helps with that calm, it helps your mental state of being too. Yeah. So it on all facets it helps, and it's used in the conventional world too. So if you have ever been pregnant and had high blood pressure, what we call preeclampsia of pregnancy, they will often give you intravenous magnesium. So that will bring your blood pressure down. It's very safe for the baby, and it's safe for you. And so you can avoid having seizures, which is one of the things that you can get if you have high blood pressure or pregnancy or preeclampsia. So we use that in the obstetric world a lot. It's really hasn't made its way over into the conventional world in the ER. When I was back in the ER, this is more than 10 years ago, we were starting to use it IV to help with blood pressures. But I'm not sure that it has stayed, as a fan favorite, so to speak, because there are other things that maybe work a little bit faster, but with more side effects. So if you're trying to stay off blood pressure medicine, trying to make sure that your magnesium intake is really good. And if you are doing a great job of eating a lot of those magnesium-containing foods and your blood pressure is still high, you can look at a supplement. You can look at other things, and we've, I think, talked about blood pressure in the past, of all the things that you can do, but magnesium is one really simple thing that if you're on the borderline at all, or you're trying to avoid going on another drug, then that's a good thing to do.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. The time you'll want to be careful about that is if you have kidney failure, if you're on dialysis, obviously you don't want to be taking a lot of magnesium, because that's a mineral that can mess with the dialysis, and because it's excreted through the kidneys as well as the bowels, it has to be watched.
Okay.
But overall, pretty safe. Pretty much everybody can do it, young and old, other than some of those kind of situations.
Yeah, unique Ask
Yeah.
your doctor first, kind of.
Right. Always ask your
Yeah.
doctor, right? If you've got somebody that's knowledgeable about those things, your doctor may not be, in which case you may want to ask a nutritionist or a pharmacist, because the pharmacists know a lot about this as well.
Yeah, and there are drug-induced magnesium deficiencies
Yes.
too. So if you are on prescription medication, make sure you ask if there's any implication to your magnesium by taking.
Right. So one of those would be a diuretic, because that makes you pee out a lot of extra. So when you're on diuretics, that's one of the reasons, it's the magnesium and the potassium that it makes you pee out, that you'll get a lot more of those muscle spasms, the eye twitches, more headaches. Yeah, diuretics serve a purpose, but they, all of these things have side effects. So trying to minimize those long-term side effects are key.
Do you guys have any questions, any experience with magnesium that you've seen that it's kind of a miracle for you, or maybe not so much? Please share.
Yeah, so if anybody's used or has their favorite version of magnesium, go ahead and share away.
I used to be obsessed with a powder called Calm, Natural Vitality Calm.
Oh yeah.
Super tasty. It was kind of like a fizzy drink, and some people would drink it hot. Yeah. And I drank it cold. It was like I would throw that in with my vitamin C, and I'd have kind of like, because I drink mostly water,
right?
So it was kind of like jazzing up your water. That was a tasty version, and it seemed to absorb really well.
Yeah, I've had a lot of patients have success with that. So it's a Calm brand. If you look at it, and they now add threonine and 5-HTP and melatonin.
Other calming agents.
Yeah, they add a whole bunch of other things. You can buy different variations or versions of it. So
that one they sell at Whole Foods.
Yes, right.
It's made by Natural Vitality. There's also another type that's actually called Calm Magnesium. I know that you can get online too. I hear about that.
So yeah, all good options. Excuse me. So thank you very much for hanging in there, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to shout them out.
I think we actually have more comments here, but we can't see them.
Can't see
them. Bugger, look at that. Hold on, guys. We're here.
Okay.
Hi, Dawn. Hi, Sally. Hi, Mildred.
Victoria.
Best secret we probably
Michelle,
covered.
Liliana.
Oh, man. We didn't get to see any
we
of
didn't
this.
see all of these. Okay, all of a sudden.
Okay, beautiful. So, Dave. Oh, my sister.
I hope we're back. We just look like we kind of disconnected from the internet briefly. So
Kristen says she does Calm. It helps with restless legs, definitely. Magnesium citrate, is it safe to take every day?
Yes.
Tim's saying they sell the Calm, or I say Tim, I know that's Kristen, because she said Sam's is selling the magnesium Calm.
Okay. Yeah. It can be a nice little version. And
I like that, David. So he's doing the PEMF and Remag to help mom with post-stroke. How is that PEMF? Is that helping? I'd be curious, because we've done a lot of research on that ourselves.
Yeah, right. We're interested in that
Hi,
too.
Victoria.
And Victoria's using magnesium, calcium, and a zinc blend. And yeah, those are all fine.
It's like a nice mineral blend.
Yeah, it's a very nice mineral blend. So those are all good.
Sorry that we missed all this.
Yeah.
We're a little late to the bus tonight. So those are all good. I think we ended up kind of inadvertently covering some of that in our little random
ramble
chatter. But yes, not too much is, Kristen writes, is too much bad for you. It's not the too much, you'll know, because you're going to eliminate it.
Right.
So
you will know. You'll be in the bathroom. Yes.
Yeah. And then I think with the exceptions of the certain cases where you're on the dialysis and things like that. Yeah. So other than that,
it's pretty darn safe. Yeah. So we're going to wind it up. Let us know if you have any other questions, and we'll try to respond to them. As always, please share this with anybody that.
Is there no other benefit is there no other benefit to the citrate other than the bowels?
Okay. Yeah. I'll just answer that question right now, and then I'll finish telling you the other thing.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, there's more.
more. Citrate is generally the one that we reserve for the bowel because it's not absorbed. So it doesn't have many other benefits, just getting ready for your colonoscopy and if you're having some constipation issues. So looking for the other kinds can be useful. And everybody's kind of got their favorite. I kind of bounce back between the glycinate and the chelate.
I do the chelate.
Yeah. So just kind of experiment with what works best for you. And the 3 and 8, if it's more of a brain thing. If you want calm and sleep and headache, then you want the 3 and 8, which is a little bit more expensive because they have to bind it especially. Okay.
3 and 8. That's the newer one. The newer,
That's the
most recent research.
Yeah, Neuromed, right.
Yeah, and the PMN, yeah, so the PEMF increases microcirculation and vasomotion. Very cool.
So, as I was just saying, though, we're going to tie it up, and we appreciate if you share this with anybody that you think might find this helpful. We know that you've got friends and family members that you love and care about, and so if you think that they would benefit from this information, please feel free to share it. We also put it up on YouTube the following morning, so you can check my YouTube channel and it will be there. And then next week we were talking about sharing some of our favorite websites and apps.
Yes,
so that you
our little tidbits.
Yeah, things that we do ourselves.
Yes.
So kind of letting you kind of get a little vision of kind of what our days look like in terms of all the apps and the things that
I
we
used to be
use.
called Gadget Queen because I think you might have picked that up
Yeah,
quickly.
yeah, very quickly. Yeah, she loves
I like
her
every new
gadgets.
gadget, you know, and I don't use them all, but I've definitely experimented with most of them, if not read about them or, you know somebody that has. So we have like a fun list of favorites.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, any questions, send them to us. And in the meantime, have a wonderful, blessed week. And we will see you next week.
Yes, thanks for coming out, guys. Have a good night.
Have a wonderful one.